possessed by fear. I'm clutching you so tight, afraid to lose. I retreat more each night. Where is my voice? I've muted myself, and in my shyness, it's you I repel. I will find my way to express my voice. I must find my way to ignite my spark. Find my way to me so we can be we. Find my way. The fractures between us rise into view. I cling to the scraps of the care that falls through. Where is my strength? I've crumbled apart, hiding from the truth. I've shattered my heart, but I will find my way to regain my strength. I must find my way to restore my will. Find a way to me so we can be we. Find my way. Here is this moment to take a chance to go on alone or grow and advance. I will find my way to express my voice. I must find my way to ignite my spark. Find my way to me so we can be we. Find my way. I will find my way to regain my strength. I must find my way to restore my will. Find my way to me so we can be we. Find my way. Find my way. I'll find my way. Happy Sunday, everybody. Thank you for finding your way to Sunday Live with Caleb and Joe. Hope you guys are staying safe out there. I know things are opening up. We're all wanting to stretch our limbs, but depending on where you are, make that decision wisely. I'm in Seattle, and we're still in lockdown. Some things are starting to open up. Some shows were starting to happen, but then like festivals are getting canceled 2 days later. Not sure what the driver of that is, because certainly rates have been coming down. But so hopefully something will turn around by this summer and we'll start getting out and about. I've had my shot and my wife's had her shot, and I'm looking forward to starting to get some normality back in our lives. Let's check in with Joe down in California and see how he's doing. Hey, Joe, you out there?
Yes, I am. Good evening / afternoon. Happy weekend.
How is the San Francisco? How is the San Francisco Bay Area?
Well, having been out and about in Marin and the East Bay, even and especially my day off today, it's although things are technically sort of still on lockdown, we stand at the cusp of an interesting transition of opening up. From the bike shop where I work, where we're planning opening up about June 15th, to various cafes and bookstores that are opening on a limited basis, limited amount of people going inside. we're poised on the brink of change. Infection rates are down, vaccination rates are climbing astronomically. So hope springs eternal to where things will start opening up. June 15th looks to be a very pivotal date. I'm seeing concert advertisements for concerts happening in September thereabouts. So that's a big fat anticipation. So, and people are it's mouth watering for many of us who have been in quarantine in isolation, virtual castaways, but for venues like this here and now. So there's a strange anticipation in the air. Hope has been a stranger. So basically, it's like a type of anticipation, and it's like daylight is at the end of the tunnel, and we don't quite recognize what daylight looks like. We don't remember. We're having to get reacquainted with these with the strange phenomenons known as hope and anticipation. So, and as we adjust to this newfound brightness, we're seeing some of the things that might be possible. At the same time, we can't waver from our discipline because it is that exact discipline that got us this far. And this would be the
Mm.
worst time to relax our guard, shall we say.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm
in,
trying to balance that out right now myself with the reality is I won't work out much, but if I go to the gym, I'll work out. And the question is, when will that be? Now that we're vaccinated, we don't want to become carriers. It's still a slight chance of infection and not having some amount of non-fun in one's life. So it's like, yeah, it's like this interesting balance point. I'm going to give it another week and a half because Alex she only got vaccinated last Tuesday. So I want to give it that, full immunity in the household before I go out and start doing stuff.
Absolutely. I have my full immunity as of last Wednesday. And I still wear a mask out of respect because you don't know who's vaccinated and who's not. And I can say that I'm vaccinated, but people will be much more at ease if I just default to the mask. Also,
And the
things are
who is
changing.
vaccinated question is interesting because it would be so easy to duplicate this card. And one person was saying to me they were given two cards and they were told to fill in their information on their cards so they could give the second card to someone else. Anyhow, you
I
were
could
saying.
Xerox my own card and make a killing. Everybody could be named Joe Price. Hi, I'm Joe Price and I'm vaccinated. So
Nice.
exactly. So I wear the mask out of respect for others because it takes the guesswork out. And regardless, though, every week is a new scenario. Every week is a different perspective. This week was one. Next week will be a different perspective. The week after will be such, and it's strangely looking good. This is and good is a strange perspective because being cautionary has been the norm. That has been the discipline, and anticipation and things looking good on the up and up. That is very strange. It is very unfamiliar territory after all these months and after this year.
I
So
definitely have
let's
been finding my internal dialogue is like it's realizing that this liberty is arriving and it's been so long it's actually um, a little dissonant rather than just like, oh my gosh, da, da, da. It's this it's cautious and there's this little bit of what does this mean to me, and it's interesting.
absolutely. It's also been, gives us a newfound perspective on things like how much time we have, and how much time that we squander versus that we could utilize toward the things that we need, love, and are interested in. And for that, I stopped watching television again. I had a brief love affair with television about maybe 8 months ago, and that fizzled out about a month ago. So basically, I just it's back to reading and cycling.
That is awesome. Let's bring on our guest here and find out how they're doing with all this. Our guest of the week is Susanna Lee, singer, pianist, and performer. Susanna, are you out there?
I am here.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Doing good. So we've been talking about Seattle and San Francisco Bay Area. You are in Austin.
Yes.
How are things going out there for getting out?
Yeah, so a lot of people are getting vaccinated, so there's more things happening. And just like anywhere, people have different views on vaccination. My mom got vaccinated where she works at. Everyone in her workplace did. So yeah, she's getting her second shot in a few weeks, I think. So just hoping she doesn't have any side effects, you know.
Fingers and toes crossed. I
Yeah.
got the same thing my wife got. I was sick for a day and she felt nothing. She like maybe a little bit of a headache in the evening. So it
Yeah.
does vary by person.
Yeah.
And even when I said I got sick for a day, it was like I had a mild flu for 8 hours the day after. So it wasn't like horrible.
Yeah.
My wife might have thought I was felt horrible by how I whined sitting on the couch watching TV all day. Cool. Well, I'm glad that that your mom's getting vaccinated and you'll have that off your mind about her safety and whatnot. My parents have gotten
Yeah.
vaccinated, so I know how that feels.
Cool.
As far as like getting out and performing, there's starting to be gigs up in Seattle. It seems like some festivals though have canceled. How is Austin pretty open at this point?
Yeah, a lot more things are happening. They're just leaving it up to venues and businesses what they prefer to do. But yeah, I noticed that I am getting more gigs. Yeah, lately, so which is good. And
Cool.
I'm still just being as safe as possible.
Awesome. And that's all we could do, right? Is
Right.
you still have to live life.
Yeah.
And as a performer, this has been a tough year for performers. Um,
Yeah.
so good to hear that things are happening. And I know several folks here in Seattle said that they were getting gigs booked in Austin, and also some folks I know in the San Francisco Bay Area are going to go out to Austin to do gigs.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
And then you and I have a mutual friend from Balanced Breakfast, Jack Charles. I know
Yeah.
he's working on a new album and engaging. So it sounds like Austin is the place to be.
Awesome. I like it here.
How long have you lived in Austin?
Oh gosh, over 20 years.
Cool. And where did you originally grow up?
I'm a military brat, so I grew up all over the place.
Okay, got it. The traveling, the traveling pianist.
There you go.
So because I'm thinking about this, okay, I've known military kids that it's like, where are we deployed? Where are we moving to? And of all the instruments you can try to learn and have to move around a lot, a piano would seem like the least convenient.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I had a keyboard there for a while. But no, yeah, I guess my parents bought me a piano when I was pretty young, and no, we took it to Germany um, at least once. We were stationed there twice. But yeah, we would take it to California when we got stationed out there. So yeah, that was one thing my mom's like, you're not quitting piano. It's like, okay. I liked it though.
Nice. Well, I know my mom is watching this, so sorry, Mom. I know she bought me a piano, and I tried so hard, and I just could not master the thing. I finally got, keyboards. I can do one hand. I can do
Hmm.
moving knobs with the left hand and playing riffs with the right hand. I never was able to just sit down and play two-handed.
That's all you need. I've actually seen a one-hand pianist, and he was pretty awesome. Just so you know.
All right, so
Yeah, he's doing all the stuff with just one hand. It's like that's
wow.
amazing.
Yeah, I guess if you're jumping octaves, if you got
Hmm.
a fast enough reflex or you have a wide enough span, you could work both ends of the keys that way. All right. No more excuses.
No excuses for you.
It's like I'm also fumble finger on the guitar, and keep trying to learn new things. And I do some little basic guitar stuff, and then I can record and clean it up. And what's the guy's name? Oh, famous jazz guitarist. He
Okay.
he invented a whole new style of jazz guitar after he was in a fire and his hands were so damaged he could only use two fingers on his left hand. And he retaught himself guitar with two fingers and went on to become one of the most famous guitarists in history. So you
That's
just,
yeah,
I guess you just got to do the
great.
practice.
Yep, no excuses.
So what age were you when you first started practicing piano?
Yeah, so my parents put me in a lot of activities, and I guess I was like, I would say 5, maybe earlier than that, but I really liked piano because, well, one reason was my parents didn't let me have candy, but my piano teacher let me have some candy after each lesson. And then when my mom found out, she's like, we don't give her candy. And then she's like, oh, okay. But then it was like a lemon drop, I remember. I thought they were so, because I, didn't have access to any of that at home. So I was like, I love piano. I'm going every week.
There's the motivation. That's
Yeah,
it,
so I do
folks.
that with my students. Yeah, lollipops every lesson if you practice.
Nice. All right, folks. I'm gonna start doing this. I'm gonna get a candy and put out every week and like every day. I'm like, I can only have that jelly baby if I practice.
There you go.
That'll get me there and probably help the mid drift. Cool. So you started at 5. You're moving around. Somehow your parents keep a piano in your life. And you keep on practicing, and then did you just continue playing from there?
Yeah, I pretty much stuck with it through all the moves. There would be some breaks here and there because, moving it's a lot. Um, but yeah, it was something I talked with a new therapist friend who just happened to be having dinner with us. And she's like, oh, so piano was something that was staple in your life. And I was like, I never thought of it that way. I guess so.
Mm.
So it's something that really like was stable in my life through all the moves. So I guess that's one of the reasons why it just kind of became part of my life. Yeah.
So you had stability, you had rewards.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a good reason to connect. And then did you find like when you moved places through playing piano, you could connect with people, new people?
Um, I had some really good piano teachers. You know, maybe one not so good, but most of them were, yeah, really good. And I don't know, I guess like when people find out, oh, you play piano, I was like, yes. So it makes you kind of feel kind of good, like they think it's impressive. And so that's also motivation. Yeah, and I would, accompany like high school choir sometimes, so that was cool. I was also in the jazz ensemble in high school. So yeah, I feel like it opened up a lot of doors for social things too. So yeah, definitely connecting with people is good.
When you said the impressive thing, look, I'm still impressed. I'm more impressed because I try to fight with that thing, and so therefore I'm that much more impressed. It is impressive to stay have that focus and to build that skill. So you seem to downplay the impressive thing. They think it's because it is.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is.
I mean, everyone has their thing, right? Everyone has a gift, whether they're using it or not.
And I suppose if someone said I have a gift for gab, I would just say, no, it's not a gift. It just
What?
comes
What is
naturally.
it?
It
Well,
just happens. It happens. I'm my mother's child. We're talkers. So I don't think of that as a gift. But a lot of people will be like, how could you get up on a stage and,
right.
I'll do presentations. When I first came to Seattle, I did presentations on the music industry and where revenue comes from, what
Mhm.
royalties are, what the streams are, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm always amazed when I come off stage because I'm totally an introvert. I'd rather be home with the book and all that stuff. But you get me up on stage and I'm like da 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 da, no shyness at all. And
Wow.
people will be like, "Wow, that must be very difficult." I'm like, Nope, So, so I hear you. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's awesome.
Well, let's show some folks some of your music, and I'm going to play the video for Ain't No Sunshine. Here is Susanna Lee.
Ain't no sunshine when he's gone. It's not warm when he's away. Ain't no sunshine when he's gone, and he's always gone too long. Anytime he goes away, I wonder this time where he's gone. Wonder how long he's gonna stay. Ain't no sunshine when he's gone, and this house just ain't no home. Anytime he goes away. Well, I know, 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 I know when he's gone. Oh, he's gone too long. Anytime he goes away. Anytime he goes away.
That was Susanna Lee performing Ain't No Sunshine. That is a really cool video.
Thanks.
Just has a great vibe. Where was that? Was that shot in Austin?
Yeah, that was shot at a place that's not open anymore, called Dozen Street. I used to run a open mic there called Drunk Piano on Sundays, actually, Sunday evenings, and I would have like a guest artist or a featured artist for the night. That was a cool time.
Very cool. And do you write songs or do you only perform songs?
I do write songs. I've been writing more the past 2 years after joining a songwriting group here in Austin, which just so happened coincided with the shutdown, so had more time to do that.
Very cool. I look forward to seeing those songs now. For folks that know this show, you know I'm part of a group called Balanced Breakfast. Susanna is in Balanced Breakfast too, and a lot of great support around that. So we're just going to have to let us know on the show when you have another video or one of your songs comes out. I know we're going to play Party. That's one of your originals?
It is.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm
We'll,
very
we'll,
proud.
we'll play that next. That's neat. So when did you start writing? You said only in the last 2 years, or did you write before that?
Oh, I actually started trying to write when I was a kid. Actually, when we were stationed in LA, I would find stuff that I've scribbled like lyrics or notes to. Um, so let's see, that would have been like when I was 8 years old. I didn't really like constantly write since then, but just watching my favorite artists and like their journey into what they do as a recording artist, I was like, oh, I guess like I need to write. I like to write poetry, so I just kept doing that and mimicking what my favorite artists would do as far as writing lyrics. So I write more lyrics than anything, but yeah, writing music as well and learning how to get better at both.
It's a bit like patting your head and rubbing your tummy.
Hmm.
You know, the lyric writing and the music writing, and sometimes the lyric will sit right there, and then sometimes it won't, and it fights you.
Yeah.
I'm driving my producer crazy because I'm like, I'm going to change the lyrics in the last part of that song. We're almost done. Well, I decided the wording right there needs to be changed. Because the other thing I find with songwriting is you'll write it and you're like, oh, this is perfect, it's done. And then you go away and you come back. And it's like it changed while you were away.
Right. Yeah. Totally. Like this sucks. No.
Yeah. I mean, you're like, what was I thinking? Or worse yet, I had this with the song I'm currently recording. I came back to it. I've been writing and rewriting the lyrics for like a year and a half. And I went to record it, and I guess in the stacks of paper, I had the old lyrics on the back, and I flipped it over, and I said, oh, that's much better.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm still sticking with the new lyrics. I think the new lyrics are more, I'm trying to do songs that are more, I don't want to say generic, but that's the only word I have. Songs that are more open to interpretation, or more
Yeah.
broad topics and are
Mhm.
less specific. I when I earlier on, I would write very obscure lyrics. You know, it was
Yeah.
whatever came to my mind, a lot of stream of consciousness stuff, and the word juxtaposition being in a song and things like that. And now I'm trying to be more general with the piece. So I'm glad I did change the song, because the original one I thought was more stronger lyrics, but it was so specific that I think it made the song less universal.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And you mentioned backing up choir and jazz group in high school. That reminded me, I was in choir and I was in the jazz singing group in high school. So
Cool. Yeah. I remember I got to make it to like what was it the highest choir in high school. So I was happy about that. Like my last year. So that was like a big thing for me.
did you feel, was that like there was a general chorus and then there was a special chorus?
Yeah, it was like, different, like the women's chorus and then the mixed chorus and I don't know, chamber chorus, something like that. So I made it to the chamber chorus. So that was nice.
Yeah, that was also the top tier group was chamber choir
Oh, okay.
at least at San Jose State. I'm not sure at high school. It really was the general concert choir was your sort of entry level, and then if you did well, you got invited to join the jazz choir.
Oh.
And then there was a third group, because I remember I'd go like 6 in the morning. Like I had like
Mm-hmm.
2
Drill hour.
choir
Yeah.
groups before school officially started, and then one during the day. Yeah, and that was it was a huge social group to have that group of musicians and singers and around me during those years.
Totally.
I never made it into the Corliers, was it called? I think that was the top group at San Jose State University. I auditioned. My voice was not on that day, so I did not get that. But I did get to have a little bit of a little badge of honor later. Because when I went for my singing review for like the end of year, you would get like 1 credit for performance. You would have to go and sit with the pianist and sing and perform in front of one of the professors, and then they would sign you off. Okay, yeah, you. And I'm sitting outside waiting for my pianist, and they never arrived. And I'm like, oh, sweating bullets. Oh my goodness. And this guy's walking by, and I just randomly said, "Do you play piano?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "Can you play My Funny Valentine?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Do you have 10 minutes?" And he said, "Yes." Totally random. Go in. He sat down and played it. And I could feel how he was interpreting it. And it was so connected to me. This voice came out of me. It's probably one of the best singing moments I've had in my life. And the jazz professor was sitting there going, "Why are you not in my program?" So,
Very cool.
Another case where a pianist, such as yourself, played a key role. So you get through high school, and how has piano grown since then in your life?
How has it grown?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I decided in high school, like I wanted to do music or study it in college because my parents were like, "You're going to college, no matter what, at least get your bachelor's." Like, okay, well, if I'm gonna spend 4 years somewhere, I want to do something I'm interested in. So that's what I was interested in. So that's what I pursued. My original goal was to go to Berklee College of Music in Boston as a pop singer and just graduate from there. It didn't quite pan out that way, but I did spend a year there. So I got that dream or that experience out of the way. I don't know. And then, but I completed my classical piano degree at UT, which is what I could do musically there since they didn't have a jazz voice or anything like that. It was just classical or opera or jazz piano, which I never trained, well enough to audition with that.
So you got your bachelor's in classical piano?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. That's still not easy. Like, I was teasing about the people being impressed, but I'm serious. Like, playing classical piano is not something you just walk in and do.
No, yeah, you have to work at it.
I remember the first Mozart piece I described as riding a roller coaster and holding on for your dear life.
Oh gosh, Mozart, for some reason, like, I guess my fingers are maybe long, but playing his music was difficult for me because it's very intricate and very fast. I think people with shorter, like smaller hands, since that's what he had, like, and what he wrote, music like that, have an easier time with Mozart. When I had to play Mozart, I was like, man, Mozart.
Okay, so it wasn't just the pieces my choral instructor gave us, because I had the exact same impression you had too. It was like all these little runs, and you're like, how do I even know if I hit the note? It's gone by so fast. It's like you're driving 60 miles down the freeway, and you're like, there went a tree, there's another tree. I didn't know he was small. So he was a small man, and so his fingers were like nimble.
Yeah. Yes, very, yeah.
Okay. Well, I can't say that my Mozart challenges were because of my big hands since it was my mouth, but I'm going to take it. I'm going to say it's still because I have
Oh
big
yeah,
hands.
his style, yeah, is just incredible.
So what is your favorite composer to play?
For classical wise,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Debussy is my favorite.
Oh, okay.
Impressionistic stuff, the pretty and wide-ranging. I don't know, it's magic when I hear his music or play it. It's a feeling that I could describe it.
I love about Debussy is this idea that you can have complexity without specifics.
Hmm.
The idea it's like a watercolor brush stroke.
Yeah,
And yeah. So go on. You describe
I was
Debussy
just
for
saying,
this
like,
audience.
right, he would write music specifically for like see a painting and be inspired and write, music. So music was definitely like art inspired. Yeah, that style.
And how do you, for folks who aren't familiar with him, how will you say that as a pianist he's achieving that?
He's achieving the colors.
Yeah.
I think like his harmonic structure, I would say, um, it's the best way I could put it. Just the way, and his melodies. So those two things combined, I think, just is what makes it the way that it is. So impressionistic style, like for painting wise, that's the one where it's like you make a lot of little dots, right, and then you step away, and then you see the picture, type of thing. So I guess same thing, with the piano. He puts a lot of notes, right, in one measure, so to speak, or it's a wide range of notes. So I'm thinking, yeah, that's how it's done with the piano.
So if folks don't know what we're talking about, go look up Debussy. Claude Debussy, I believe?
Yes.
Okay. I still remember after all these years my music class. Yes. Claude Debussy, very, I would say, not abstract, but dreamlike.
Right, exactly, dreamlike.
And the way you described it with lots of little dots where you can't really see the picture, but you step back and then you get an overall picture. What is it? Sunday in the Park. What's that painting?
Yeah. I
Right.
think that's it.
Monet and all that.
Yeah.
And it's so completely different than I think a lot of Americans, they come through maybe Aaron Copland. So they're used to Americans adopting the bombastic style of, say Beethoven or the later Romantic period. It's very, nationalistic. And when you hit Debussy, it's like, whoa, what's happening to me here? I don't have a, very clear line of what's going on. And what would you be your second favorite?
Oh man, second favorite.
Who's the runner-up?
Runner-up, classical wise. Well, since we're talking about dreamlike music, I don't know. There's this song that like I was kind of obsessed with in college by Edvard Grieg called "Face in a Dream," and I could never find the music to that because it was in German. It's like, or actually no, it was on a CD called "Face in a Dream," but the sheet music had the German name, which was drum. I'm mispronouncing it, but yeah, I found it years later, so I was super excited. So Edvard Grieg, probably my second, which is pretty much kind of the same style, I feel like.
He's a friend of mine who I help with this software company. That's one of his favorites. And I might be incorrect on that. Maybe it was Versailles. But I'm pretty sure Frank Zappa was a big fan of his as well.
Oh, yeah.
Which might seem funny, but he had a lot of different influences. Well, not only are you a classic pianist, trained, degreed, you're a singer-songwriter, but you're also doing like electro-pop.
I guess so. I like pop, yeah.
So I'm going to play a piece called Party, and this shows the other side of you.
All right.
Let go of the past, let go of the future, 'Cause all that we have, all that we need is right here, right now, in this very moment. Learn to let go. I wanna party and have a good time like it's the end of the world, end of our lives. We don't know what's gonna happen, baby. So kiss me like you're mine. Don't you know it's all within our power? Don't you realize you control your mind and your thoughts? They are just thoughts. Learn to let them go. Let's try our best to feel alive. Don't be in a downward dive. Pray to God to set us free from the bondage of deceit. Then it's up to us to get us free. Hey, I put the past behind me. I am free. I put the future in front of me. I am free. I am free. I am free to make today the best that it can be. I wanna party and have a good time like it's the end of the world, end of our lives. We don't know what's gonna happen, baby. So kiss me like you're mine. Don't you know it's all within our power? Don't you realize you control your mind and your thoughts? They are just thoughts. Learn to let them go.
That was Party by Susanna Lee. So when did you first discover pop music?
Oh gosh, so I guess when I was a little kid, dancing around the house to like Michael Jackson and Cyndi Lauper, and then I found out you can get paid to sing, and I was like, what a wonderful world! I remember saying that to my parents, and then I don't know, I don't know if my mom was really happy about that or not, but yeah, I was like, well, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get paid to sing.
Did you feel any like, could you say to your mom, I want to play pop, and that was as okay as I want to play classical, or was there a little bit of a
Oh no, maybe I'm just making it up in my head, but like I guess it's not like the unless you like really make it big, like the best money making thing to do. I don't
okay,
know.
so being a musician at all in that sense? Or you mean just the singing part?
Yeah, you know how parents can be. I don't know.
Well,
My parents are very supportive.
my mom very supportive. My dad wanted to be supportive, but I was always playing music that he couldn't tolerate. So he was like choir music. They grew up on country and rock, so choral singing was not going to happen for my dad. And my mom, bless her heart, had never heard a note of a piece of choral music in her life, and she showed up to every single concert.
Nice. Yeah, my
So
mom's into like K-pop now, and so she shows me videos. She's like, "You better study how this person sings," and she tries to like help me. So that's nice.
Okay, okay. So she's not like I've met people who, as a child, were given a piano, and it's like it's a piano, it's classical, it's serious.
Oh,
Don't do any of that pop stuff.
no, they weren't like that. It's just so happens like whatever teachers I would get, like that was the style that I was like I didn't have a say in it. Although I did take quite a bit of jazz, like in like classes, I think in high school and college. But it was just something that I didn't grow up with a jazz piano teacher, from the start. Yeah. So,
Got it. Yeah, I think that was also my challenge with my first piano teacher. Is she was all just about classical composition. So I learned for Elise. Okay, my mom loved me playing for Elise, and I wanted to play pop. So I just
yeah.
never really found that pop teacher until later.
Yeah. Yeah, I think jazz is another monster, but like I feel like pop music, like I feel like I can pretty much figure it out, I guess. 'Cause it's not many chords and it's repetitious. I'm like, I could do this. I can do this all day.
Just get a nice little pattern going.
Yeah.
You get a concept, and then you shoot the video.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I most of my work is pop. I do
Okay.
I do either pop music in a couple different styles. I got like the country western rock influence, the kind of electronic 80s influence, and then another one that's more darker goth electronic kind of thing. And then the fourth thing is just it's just random. When I don't feel like having any structure, I'll do just a totally experimental piece. And it's interesting that you mentioned Debussy earlier, because Debussy was the first thing I heard that said how I played piano was okay. Obviously, he's has the talent and preciseness, but just abstractly improvising on the piano in a way that's dreamlike came very naturally to me. And so when I heard him, I thought, well, he's obviously more sophisticated than I am, but I'm okay. It's okay what I'm doing.
Exactly.
Again, probably Dad was like, where's the honky tonk playing? Never happened. Well, we got another track here that is I Miss You, which is another original, correct?
Correct.
All right, let's play that, and then let's talk more about songwriting.
All right.
As you were leaving, you tried to kiss me. I turned my head and asked, "Is it safe?" You Eskimo kisses were the best. I wish you wanted me by your side. I wish you wanted to focus on me. I wish you saw me as also your friend. I miss how you touch me. Just to let you know, I miss you so much and I love you. You're all I want in my life. I wish you'd tell me that, but you make me feel unwanted. I wish I could see you again. I wish we could belong to each other, 'cause I'm sorrowful without you.
That was I Miss You by Susanna Lee. Now, when you're doing your tracks like that, do you come up with your own drum parts? Are you working with a producer? What's your
Yeah,
process?
so I have a beat guy that did the beats for those two songs. He does a good job that I work with. His name's Brett Poet, local. Yeah, I guess he does music for people around town, and also worship artist. Um, but yeah, I do the lyrics and the piano, definitely.
And on the piano, I noticed with the tight shots there was some lettering on the bottom. Is this like a baby grand and an electronic piano?
Yeah, it's electronic. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So you can do pop patches like different sounds other than
Yes.
just the piano.
Yep.
Okay, very cool. Because I saw the open lid, and I'm used to thinking of synth pianos as not having a full body, but does it have a harp as well?
Oh, it doesn't. No, it's just all electric.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, cool. I was like, how's she doing that? Oh, okay, I see. And well, maybe she's playing at this piano, but she did it with the Nord that I saw earlier. Um, cool. So you've got this collaborate. You're now writing. You're part of Austin Bounce Breakfast. You're meeting up that social group. You've got someone doing beats, and you're setting your lyrics and your chords to those beats. How else are you working on your music and getting it out to people?
Yeah, so a full CD is my goal. I have songs, enough songs for that. Um, so that's the next thing. Yeah.
Cool. So you get a full album together.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing an EP release from someone's recommendation, like releasing, a couple of songs first at a venue. We'll see where, and then building from there.
Oh, we'll have to talk offline on the whole strategy thing because,
All right.
yeah, definitely, I'd say 3 singles, and even the guys from CD Baby are like, single 1, single 2 with 1 added, single 1, 2, and 3. I'm like, oh, that's too much for me. But
Huh.
I usually go with 3 singles, an EP, and then later on a full album, maybe that combines 2 EPs with extra material. It's because Spotify, most people are listening on Spotify, and with Spotify, you can only pitch 1 track per release. So if you release a single, like 10 singles, you can pitch each one of those singles to get on playlists. If you release a 10-track album, you still only get to pitch 1 song.
Oh, okay. I know.
So people will release the singles and let that build, and then they'll package maybe into like a 6-track EP with a 6th track that wasn't available previously. Or one of the strategies I do is when I produce a recording, I always produce the full version, an instrumental version, and a karaoke version.
Okay.
And then those will be like the B-sides of the singles. And it's just a way of putting yourself back out in front of people. The challenge in the industry and in the culture is people are so used to rapid fire material coming at them. As a writer, if you're able to crank out something every week, that's great. But if you're producing like a clear album body of work, how do you keep their attention? How do you keep pinging them back and saying, hey, I'm here. Hey, I exist. It's almost like you were talking about the open mic that you had, right? You would be like every week or every month, here's the new track and premiere it there, right? And you would say, hey, you can now watch this, on YouTube or listen to this on Spotify. So yeah, that's the current strategy that people are doing. I find it hard to do because I'm like, here's my work, just like it or don't like it. And I feel like if you're advertising too often, like it's like you're hammering on people, but that's what everybody says works.
Oh, okay. I'm learning.
And Balanced Breakfast is a good community for that. We got people from the legal end, from the release stuff. So I run a small record label for myself and my friends, and I've done that for a couple decades. So any questions, definitely shoot me a message, and I'll throw out my philosophy. Yeah, cool.
Appreciate it.
No problem at all. Well, it is top of the hour, and it is time for the Mystic Moment. So this week, the theme is Be Soulful. Some years ago, I was listening to my earlier recordings, and what I heard was I was so busy thinking about trying to sing, so busy about thinking about what I was singing, the words I was singing, getting the recording right, are the levels right, am I clipping, all that stuff, that the vocals had no soul. It's very easy for us to really focus on work and just work, achieve goal, and look back and find that what we've produced just doesn't have that connection to others, or doesn't fully express our own voice and what we have going on deep inside of us. So think about something that you're doing this week. It can be something simple like gardening or whatnot, and find a way to bring soul to it. Hum a song to a flower. Express a passion that you have through the things that you do. So that's my challenge for everybody to think about this week. Bring a little soul into your life. You've been watching Sunday Live. If you have any questions for our guests or comments, feel free to add it in the chat, and we'll get them answered. For Susanna Lee, our guest this week. Susanna, again, is a singer, pianist. She's also a songwriter and performer, doing not only classical pieces and pop pieces. You can look her up on YouTube, and actually when we talk in the after party, I'll find out where else you can find her music. We're back with Susanna Lee. So Susanna, if people want to find your music, I know I found the videos on YouTube. Is there other places where they can find your music, or is it just YouTube for now?
No, I've got all kinds of websites. I've tried to make most of them all linked to Susanna Lee Sings. So if you type that in to a lot of web things, you'll find me on them. So yeah, I have a lot of them on my Facebook that you can find me. Same name, Susanna Lee Sings. You can find me on there, and then all my websites are on there, and all the major socials. That's what it is.
Got it. Cool. Susanna Lee Sings.
Mm-hmm.
I will check out some of your other stuff, and folks, now you know where to go. Your next stop is releasing a single.
Mm-hmm.
Are you working with, what steps are you going through next to get that single done?
Yeah, I mean, I'm up on Spotify and a couple places with just one song. I'm trying to get more on there. I think one reason why like Party is not on Spotify, or I have to get it on TuneCore first, I think, and then it gets on there, is the artwork. So it's little things here and there that I need to iron out. But yeah, I guess with the tracks, I feel like I still need to make them better and tweak them sound wise. Um, and yeah, I did that a couple of them at a studio here in Austin. And then I have a friend that's actually a producer that's released albums for people. So thinking about working with him to do the full album. So it's in the process. I've got a bass player that wants, because people are watching me and play music with me, and he wants to add a bass part to the party song now that I'm thinking about it. So I'm gonna have to tweak that one probably too in the studio. So yeah, it's in the process. Gonna get there.
Another thought to think about, coming from the singer-songwriter standpoint versus, say, the record label standpoint, we quite often aren't reflecting on what's possible. We're thinking about, oh, is that lyric right? Is that beat right? Is that, chord progression right? And what we don't realize is we're living in the 21st century. You can have a version 2.0, version 3.0, version 4.0, just like software. You can have Party 1.0, Party 2.0, and Party 2.0 can have bass, and it's a different single than Party 1.0. Think about like remixes, right? This is the bass remix. And so you have a lot of options. And one option that you might not have considered that I absolutely, absolutely adore is Bandcamp. So what okay, you're on Bandcamp. You have an account. Great. So Bandcamp is awesome because you can release and remove because it's just your own store, right? It's not connected to anyone else in the universe. So you can release Party 1.0 and then you do a new version. Oh, Party 2.0 can come out and you can manage it like that. It gets a little more challenging when you release through CD Baby, TuneCore, whatnot. And now it's on all these platforms and sort of locked in. You have to decide what your strategy is going to be with that.
Yeah.
But so don't limit yourself. Don't hold back. That's what I'm saying. But it sounds like you're already moving forward. If you got Bandcamp and you're already thinking about your SEO, that is search engine optimization for you folks. Susanna Lee Sings, that is perfect. That is another area where artists typically fall down. Is like, this is my name. I've come up with this. Well, there happens to be 20,000 more Susanna Lees out there. How are you going to stand out?
Right.
You're right.
I couldn't use just that name because it's kind of too simple. And so it's like, I got to add something so I can just have it everywhere. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you've thought that. You're working with the producer. The only thing to think about is the album concept, and does it even have to be an album these days? If it's 10 singles and it's all on Bandcamp collected together, or it's on Spotify collected together, isn't that the album? Or
yeah, I haven't thought about that. Like albums are coming back, like the big ones, right?
Certainly vinyl has its it has its market. It's a niche market, and it's cool to have the idea like, I have this vinyl record of my stuff. But most listeners, I would say, are happening at Spotify. If I look at my metrics on the label, I'd say 90% of it's Spotify, and then probably YouTube, and then Apple Music, and then trickles on the 30, 40 other platforms that are out there in the world.
Gotcha. Yeah, I always thought, I'm going to have my own CD, but I guess you could just bring those to gigs and sell those there.
Yeah, when you said CD earlier, I thought, I was literally in the garage this morning digging through boxes saying, how can I, tidy up and reduce the amount of space I've got? And I'm like going through boxes of old electronics. I'm like, oh, this isn't relevant anymore. Oh, Firewire cable, okay. And I opened up this big box. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is all CDs. What do I do with these? They're all commercial CDs of other people. And then I've got my own CDs. So I'm like, oh, wow, I got to think about my strategy on this. I don't even know if the new car has a CD player in it.
Really? Oh, yeah.
But what I will say about CDs that's still of value is people do like to go to shows and buy them. They don't have what I learned surprisingly over this last year working with some Seattle bands is they're all still pressing CDs. And I'm like, why are you pressing CDs? Who's buying this? They said, yeah, well, no one has a CD player. It's like a cassette tape player. But a CD the person can put up on the wall or on a bookshelf. It's like a collectible.
Okay.
And if you put a booklet with, some story in there or something, it becomes this collectible thing, but they never actually play the CD.
Yeah.
Or with the CD, they'll put like a little USB stick that has the album on it. So it's interesting, the novelty, vinyl and CDs. And I don't know if you know, like a couple of years ago, cassettes were all the rage.
Yeah, I still have cassettes, but yeah,
And
I heard something like that.
and again, kids were like, well, you're buying these cassettes. Yeah, I went to the thrift store and I found a cassette tape player and it's cool. And
Oh my
I'm kind of like, what's driving this? Because now you can
God.
you can have an infinite supply of music brought to you. And I think there's like a backlash a little bit where people actually want to be limited. Like, I just want to hear this album and not have all the rest kind of coming in.
Okay.
Or again, they just want to, something physical from the artist. So you got your stickers, you get your T-shirts. I don't know if you know. I'm going to say her name right because she's Susanna Yeda was my guest 2 weeks ago, and she puts all her lyrics into little poetry books.
Oh, okay,
And then
cool.
presses a couple of those and brings those to show. So people do like to still buy physical things, even though most of what's happening is online.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So obviously, call me when you're thinking about your marketing. I got lots of ideas. And
Thank you.
I'm a big fan of CD Baby. TuneCore is cool. TuneCore is cool because you can release a lot of content. And, just pay like $100 a year or something like that and release all your content. CD Baby, I'm biased. I've been with since 98, back when they were selling CDs. But one thing I like about them is they host little shows, like they'll pop up on Facebook and it'll just say, bing, CD Baby is doing a presentation on Facebook. And it's like two guys will talk about what's happening in the industry, what the best strategies are for releases at this time, etc. So check them out. Even if you're not a CD Baby member, you can watch their streams.
Yeah, I think I'm on there too.
All right, cool. Well, here is another performance, and this is violin. Is violin an original?
It is an original.
All right, we have another original from Susan Lee, violin.
Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in tonight. My name is Susanna Lee. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for your donations as well. This song I'm going to play is a sad love song. Enjoy.
Sometimes we don't know when to let go or how to move on. Sometimes we've been down for so long. Nothing else feels like love. Nothing else feels like home. I don't want you to leave, but I'm not gonna chase you, beg you to stay, beg you just to talk to me, 'cause you're running away. Be free. Go play your sad violin solo, 'cause you left with tears in our eyes and no goodbyes. Nothing answered, nothing close, nothing understood, not caring that I'm hurt. Saddest thing is our song was over before it began. don't know when to let go or how to move on. Sometimes we've been down for so long. Nothing else feels like love. Nothing else feels like home. I never knew the sorrow till I met you. I'm tired of hoping and waiting. And don't come back, ain't nobody got time for that. I wanna be free from you, so true love can find me too. So be free, go play your sad violin solo, 'cause you left with tears in our eyes and no goodbyes. So be free, go.
That was Violin by Susanna Lee.
Yes, yes.
Folks have any questions for Susanna out there? Put in the chat. We have the chat down below. I'm going to check on my phone here. I'm not seeing questions yet. But Amy has some very strong opinions about making sure that you're not dogging yourself. That's how I'm interpreting it.
Okay.
She wrote here, sometimes you think that what is a throwaway song is one of your best pieces of work.
She's right.
So how often do you actually throw away your work, or do you actually go, nope, every song I write, I got to take it to being done, or?
Yeah, every song I write is gold. No. Yeah, I don't know if I've definitely changed things in my songs, like lyrics and things like that. You know, the music maybe, but yeah, I don't know if I've actually like thrown stuff away. I've got a whole like I just scribble lyrics everywhere, but I try to keep it organized in like a folder. So I just have a bunch of stuff in there that I go through and maybe throw it away after I use it, or if I don't like it, throw it away.
I get I keep constantly finding little slips of slips of paper with little lyrics pieces on them, and I go, oh, that's a good lyric, I should use that someday. But eventually but I almost never have used any of those. It's usually the music comes first for me, and then I sit down and write, like, okay, this has 2 verses and a pre-chorus or whatever, and the actual material I release typically comes out of that process of like structure first, content second. Some of these scraps might inform me or give me an idea. Yeah, but I find the little scrap notes, I just lose them. I'll be like, this is so brilliant, I got to write it down, and then I'll never see it again.
Yeah, I write them in my phone, so at least it's there.
Nice.
Notes.
How do you use technology? So you're writing them down. Like, I don't think I've maybe only written lyrics in my phone a couple times. So you use your phone to capture lyrics?
Yep.
And do you sit down when you're reworking your lyrics? Do you sit down on a computer? Do you just do it on your phone?
Yeah, sometimes I just do it on my phone. But yeah, if I have to like print it out or email it on a computer, maybe. Yeah.
Okay. I find I have to sit with like a word processor.
Gotcha.
2 columns. I have to. It's like sharpening pencils. It's like you're avoiding the work, but you're getting closer to the work by having this electronic piece of paper that has the name of the song and whatnot and these sections, and then I can stare at that and then walk away from that and come back. And so I'm always interested in how other people experience that process. I know some people do manila folders and a filing cabinet and each song written out, and so it's fascinating how folks have all these different approaches.
Yeah.
And then ultimately, if I record something, I release it.
You release it?
Yeah, I don't think I have a single recording I've made that hasn't been lost because of being on a reel-to-reel tape or, on a format that died. I think every single recording I've made that still exists is available on Bandcamp.
Wow, that's impressive.
I think it's obsessive. And some of it's pretty abstract. There's one piece where some friends had this sort of art house that was across the street from a rail yard, and I was trying to inspire them to be creative one night. This is a long time ago. And I said, let's go do something. And I had a handheld cassette recorder, and we went across the street and we just started banging on like the railway, on the tracks and on railway cars, like box cars. And the wheels are concave, and they sounded like bells. So everybody started playing the train wheels, whatever you call them, as a series of bells. And I captured on 3 minutes of this or something. That's available.
Wow, somebody will buy it.
And you never know. I was always like, I don't feel like that's as authentic as my more pop stuff and all this stuff. And again, some decades ago, I was dancing at a nightclub and a guy came up and shook my hand and said, I've been wanting to meet you. And I said, oh, okay, great. And he's like, oh, I play your stuff on my college radio station. And I thought it would be one of these songs, right? No, it was all the stuff like that, train rail banging and, all the most obscure stuff. He goes, oh, I love all that unusual stuff. I don't even know what you're doing. So you never know. You just never know. I had long hair during the 90s. And with one of my bands, I had a T-shirt of me with the long hair. And I was walking around San Francisco, and a guy ran up to me. I had cut my hair off, but I was wearing the T-shirt of me with the long hair. And he ran up to me and said, where'd you get the so-and-so T-shirt? And I was like, oh, yeah, it's available here and here. So again, I have no idea how he heard my music. So you just never know.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah. These little moments of fame, like, okay, some validation for, pieces that are doing. So you say things are starting to open up. How are you going out there and kind of connecting with folks and audience beyond being online?
Yeah, so I actually, would do some gigs here and there for the restaurants that were open, like outdoors, mostly, as much as I could be outdoors. The restaurants and hotels were still booking some of them. And I feel like it's still kind of like that, just outdoor type gigs. For now, I think more people are playing indoors. I'm not playing out as much though, so that's still what I'm kind of doing. I have been playing, actually, nursing homes have been booking. I like those gigs, so I've been doing more of those, and I have another one coming up, next month. But yeah, I guess that's how I'm doing that.
I have a question I've had in my mind since I was prepping this episode, and I thought, how can I say this not rude? Bear with me here. I'm watching a lot of your outdoor videos, outdoor restaurants, and watching. At what point in your mind do you ever, maybe you don't, say, could you people just shut up and listen to me play?
Yeah, no, I mean, some places, especially when you have I've, been playing out for a while, like whenever you have a big group of people that are there to socialize, like that's what they're there to do. And like, you can't do anything about that. Maybe they'll get up and leave, but, if that happens, that's, I mean, I'm just there to do my thing and get paid and hopefully bring joy to people. So if I've done that, I've done my job.
All right.
I honestly, I don't, I'm not the type of person like, everybody shut up and listen to me. I'm not like that. Like, just do what you want to do. Like, I'm here.
You in the past you would have that open mic nights and people talking over the musicians without being very rude, and that the fact that the musicians were on stage in the open mic nights performing was almost incidental to the conversations happening. But in the waning months of the pandemic, what I've noticed in some of the outdoor parklets where restaurants have moved their serving and tables outside in little parklet booths, you see more and more a quartet of jazz musicians or salsa Latin jazz musicians perform, and you see amazingly people pay attention to them because live entertainment is not taken for granted anymore after the pandemic. It's
Hmm.
something to be cherished and held in your hand as opposed to ignored as background din.
Gotcha.
And we're looking at live music in a new form, in a new light now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely appreciated here in Austin, but I think honestly, people here in Austin, they, I guess, because music is everywhere around here. Like you can choose so many places like every night to go hear live music. So maybe that's why in my videos you're just hearing more people not pay attention. It's because like it's just music is just happening all the time everywhere around here. So maybe it's different here as far as that mindset goes. But I guess I'm used to it.
And my sense is that, like Austin, as you were saying, music is happening all the time. Nashville, music is happening everywhere all the time. And there's a lot of the San Francisco Bay Area where that's not the case. You really have. Oh, just saying, in San Francisco Bay Area, maybe like in Berkeley near the university, you got some music happening. Maybe a spot in Oakland, maybe a couple neighborhoods. It's like you have to travel to it. Um, there's definitely music happening and venues happening in San Francisco Bay Area, but when I was in Nashville, it was like, you just walk out the door and you're walking down the street and it's like, it's everywhere. Um, and while San Francisco has a lot of music, again, you tend to go to a spot. So that might be a part of that too.
Yeah.
Well, we are at the end of our interview time. It has been a pleasure getting to know you more about your music and your background. Folks, do look up Susanna Lee. That Susanna. I think I got it right.
Yes.
Lee sings Sing to see more work by Susanna. And it sounds like right now you're really in this this creative writing production phase right now. So we'll be watching for more stuff showing up in the coming months. When can we expect that first single? We're demanding it.
Oh, I mean, you played a lot of my original stuff. I was planning on putting that on my CD. So, yeah, and I guess it's kind of out there, but I guess I just don't know like all the ways to put it out there yet.
All right. Well, I'm going to check out your Bandcamp right after this interview, and I'll shoot ideas out at you. Releasing music is such a personal experience, and every artist wants to take a different approach based on their own work, and that's the way it should happen ultimately. So take everything I throw out there with a grain of salt, but if I can help in any way, I'm here.
Thank you so much.
All right, we're going to have a wrap up with Mr. Joe Price in a segment we're now calling The Last Call. Take it away, Joe.
Well, this week's rambling, creative distraction. With all the necessity to amuse and distract ourselves during the past year, precious time afforded us can be lost, especially with the impending move to normal. Rather than squander our time, we can learn to distract ourselves, within ourselves, turning inward to create music, writing, or any performance art, any art at all. Whether you plan to exhibit, release, or circulate your creations for others, or bear witness to, or simply to enrich in yourself, something tangible has been created that is much more than simply you, having come from you. Lastly, find other like-minded creatives to share with, such as we're doing here, and be inspired by. A rising tide raises all boats. That is largely why we are here tonight.
Some words from Joe. Thank you so much. I'm so glad. I never expected I'd be holding a weekly show, so I hope that what we're doing here achieves exactly what Joe described. The rising tide, raising everybody. If you have any questions, maybe you're a recording artist and you would like to be on the show, or if you have questions about releasing music or anything, know I'm out here and available for those questions and to provide support for what you're doing. I'm more than happy to do that. And Joe is more than happy to give you feedback on your work. And I found him to be an invaluable person for giving me perspective on what I'm doing. And we're open to chatting. All right, everybody, you stay safe out there. Susanna, stay online. I want to do like some post chat and other folks. Here's my contact information. You can find me on Facebook, Caleb Duart. And I got music for my 3 bands on Bandcamp, on YouTube, and all the other platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, etc. Go look up Caleb, Kalib, or look up Audio Terrorist, or look up Cuir Bleu, which is French for blue leather, Cuirbleu. The first is country rock music. The second is more dark experimental stuff. And the third is more 80s new wave kind of sounding stuff. By the way, I do want to note that a couple other people have started using the Caleb name. They're not the official Caleb band. And if it doesn't sound like country rock, it's not me. Okay, stay safe, folks, out there, and thank you for watching.